More than 4,500 years ago, something incredible happened in Egypt. In the hot desert, near the Nile River, humans built something that still shocks the world today. It is called the Great Pyramid of Giza. This pyramid is not just old. It is huge. It is heavy. And it is perfectly shaped. Even today, with modern machines, many engineers say, building this again would be very difficult. So a big question comes to our mind. How did ancient people build the pyramids without modern tools? This is the story we will explore today. Slowly, clearly, in easy English. The Great Pyramid, a wonder of the world. The Great Pyramid is the largest pyramid in Egypt. It was once 146 meters tall. That is almost the height of a 40-story building. It is made of about 2.3 million stone blocks. Each stone block weighs between 2 to 15 tons. Some stones weigh even more. That is heavier than a big truck. Now imagine this. No cranes. No electricity. No modern machines. Only human power. This is why the pyramid is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. And it is the only one still standing today. Who built the Great Pyramid? The Great Pyramid was built for a king. His name was Pharaoh Khufu. Khufu ruled Egypt around 2580 BCE. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh was not just a king. He was believed to be a god on earth. People thought, if the pharaoh lives forever, Egypt will live forever. So when a pharaoh died, people built a tomb for him. But Khufu wanted something bigger, something stronger, something that would last forever. So he ordered the building of the Great Pyramid. Why did pharaohs build pyramids? Ancient Egyptians believed in life after death. They believed the soul had 3 parts. Ka, Ba, Ak. They believed the soul needed the body to survive. That is why they mummified the body. The pyramid was built to protect the body, protect treasures, help the soul reach the afterlife. The pyramid shape also had meaning. It looked like the rays of the sun. Egyptians believed the sun god Ra helped the pharaoh go to heaven. So the pyramid was a stairway to the sky, the land of the Nile. Egypt was a powerful land. Why? Because of the Nile River. Every year, the Nile flooded the land. After the flood, the soil became rich and fertile. This helped Egypt grow food, crops, wealth. Because of this, Egypt could support thousands of workers, large building projects. The Nile was also a natural highway. Stones could be moved by boats. This will be important later in our story. Who planned the pyramid? Khufu did not work alone. He had a very smart man. His name was Himinu. Himinu was the royal architect, the chief engineer, the pharaoh's trusted advisor. Himinu had a big dream. He wanted to build a pyramid that would never fall, would never break, but would last forever. He planned everything. The shape, the angles, the stone placement. The base of the pyramid is almost perfectly level. The sides face true north, south, east, and west. Even today, modern buildings struggle to reach this level of accuracy. Was it built by slaves? Many people think slaves built the pyramids. But modern research says this is not true. The pyramid was built by skilled workers, farmers during flood season, craftsmen and builders. They were paid with food, homes, medical care. Archaeologists found workers' villages, bakeries, cemeteries. This shows the workers were respected, not slaves. They were proud to work for the pharaoh. How long did it take? The Great Pyramid took about 20 years to build. That means workers placed hundreds of stones every day. This required perfect planning, strong organization, clear leadership. Everything had to work like a system. One mistake could destroy the whole structure. Inside the pyramid, the Great Pyramid is not empty inside. It has narrow passages, hidden chambers, but long corridors. Some important parts are the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, the Grand Gallery. The Grand Gallery is very tall and narrow. It looks like a stone hallway reaching the sky. Many experts believe this area was key to lifting heavy stones. But how? That is where the mystery begins. The big question. So now we know who built the pyramid, why it was built, when it was built. But the biggest question remains. How were the massive stones lifted and placed so high? Scientists and historians have many ideas. They are called theories. We will explore the first major theory. It is called the external ramp theory. Some people believe long ramps were built. Stones were pulled up slowly. But is this really possible? Or are there problems with this idea? We learned who built the Great Pyramid, why it was built, how powerful and organized ancient Egypt was. But now we reach the most important question. How did they move and lift millions of heavy stone blocks? Scientists, engineers, and historians have asked this question for many years. One of the oldest and most popular answers is called the external ramp theory. Let us understand this idea slowly. What is a ramp? A ramp is a sloping road. Instead of lifting something straight up, you push or pull it up a slope. Think about this. If you want to move a heavy box, lifting it straight up is very hard. Pushing it up a ramp is easier. This simple idea is the base of the external ramp theory. The basic idea of the external ramp. According to this theory, workers built a long ramp from the ground. The ramp went upward, slowly. Stone blocks were placed on wooden sleds. Workers pulled the stones up the ramp. As the pyramid grew taller, the ramp also became longer and higher. In the end, stones reached the top. Workers placed them carefully. The pyramid slowly took shape. This idea sounds simple and logical. That is why many people believed it for a long time. Evidence from ancient Egypt. There is some evidence that supports this theory. Ancient Egyptian drawings show people pulling heavy statues, stones placed on sleds, workers using ropes. In one famous wall painting, a man pours water on sand. This reduces friction. The sled moves more easily. This shows that Egyptians understood basic physics. So yes, they could move heavy stones. But moving stones on the ground is one thing. Lifting them very high is another. Different types of external ramps. Experts say there was not just one ramp idea. There are three main ramp designs. 1. Straight ramp. This is the simplest idea. One long ramp, built straight toward one side of the pyramid. But there is a big problem. As the pyramid gets taller, the ramp must become very long, longer than the pyramid itself. Some experts say the ramp would need to be over 1.5 kilometers long. That is a lot of material, more than the pyramid itself. 2. Zigzag ramp. Another idea is the zigzag ramp. The ramp goes up, then turns left, then turns right, like a snake. This reduces the length, but it creates new problems. Turning heavy stones is very hard. Corners increase danger. Stones could fall. Also, there is no clear physical evidence of such ramps. 3. Spiral ramp. The third idea is a spiral ramp. The ramp goes around the pyramid, slowly moving upward, like a spiral staircase. This sounds clever, but again, problems appear. It would hide the pyramid's shape. Builders could not see corners clearly. The pyramid's perfect angles would be hard to measure. And once again, no clear remains of such a ramp were found. The biggest problem, ramp size. Now let us talk about the biggest issue, the size. To lift stones to the top, the ramp must be very gentle, not too steep. Why? Because steep ramps are dangerous. Heavy stones could slide back. Experts say the ramp slope should be about 7 degrees. At this angle, the ramp becomes extremely long, so long that it needs more stones than the pyramid. This creates a serious question. Why build a second pyramid just to build the first one? Where did the ramp go? Another big mystery is this. If the ramp existed, where is it now? The pyramid still stands, but no large ramp remains. No clear ramp ruins exist. No massive ramp foundations are found. Some say the ramp was removed after construction, but removing such a huge structure would also take years, leave marks, leave debris. Yet, we see very little evidence. Manpower and organization. Supporters of the ramp theory say Egypt had many workers. They worked in teams. They used ropes, sleds, and levers. During Nile floods, farmers could not work fields, so they worked on the pyramid. This part makes sense. Egypt had food, water, organization. But even with manpower, moving 15-ton stones up high ramps is extreme. Some stones in the king's chamber weigh over 60 tons. How did they move those? The ramp theory gives no clear answer. Precision problem. The Great Pyramid is extremely precise. Each side is almost equal. The angles are perfect. The corners align with Earth's directions. Using a massive ramp would block visibility, make alignment harder. Yet the pyramid is almost perfect. This makes some experts doubt the ramp theory. Why people still believe this theory? Even with problems, many people still support this idea. Why? Because it is simple. It uses known tools. No advanced technology is needed. Humans have used ramps for thousands of years, building temples, moving statues, so it feels human and realistic. But is it enough? The external ramp theory explains some stone movement, early stages of construction, but it fails to explain very heavy stones, very high levels, perfect precision. This leads us to think maybe ramps were used, but not alone. Maybe the Egyptians used a smarter system, a hidden method, something inside the pyramid. And this brings us to the next theory. A new idea begins. Some scientists believe the answer is not outside. The answer is inside the pyramid. They think stones were lifted from within, using internal ramps, using clever gravity systems. This idea sounds strange, but it may solve many problems. Now we move deeper into the mystery. We explored the external ramp theory. It sounded logical, but it had many problems. The ramps would be too large. No clear remains were found. Precision would be very difficult. So historians began asking a new question. What if the ramp was not outside the pyramid, but inside it? This idea leads us to one of the most fascinating theories ever proposed. The birth of a new theory. In the late 20th century, a French architect named Jean-Pierre Houdin looked at the Great Pyramid with fresh eyes. He was not an Egyptologist. He was not a historian. He was an engineer. And engineers think differently. Instead of asking, what tools did they have? He asked, what problem were they trying to solve? The problem was simple, but extreme. How do you lift millions of stone blocks, some weighing over 50 tons, with limited technology? The internal ramp idea. Houdin suggested something bold. He said, the builders first used a small external ramp, only for the lower part of the pyramid, up to about 60 meters high. After that, the ramp was dismantled. Its stones were reused. Then something incredible happened. The builders continued construction using a ramp hidden inside the pyramid. What is an internal ramp? Imagine this. Inside the pyramid walls, a narrow corridor slopes upward. It goes around the pyramid, like a square spiral. This internal ramp follows the pyramid's shape, turns at the corners, slowly climbs to the top. Workers pulled stone blocks up this hidden ramp, one level at a time. From the outside, the pyramid still looked clean and sharp. Nothing blocked the view. Perfect alignment was possible. Why this theory makes sense? This idea solves many old problems. 1. No missing ramp. If the ramp was inside, we would not find ruins outside, because the ramp still exists, hidden behind stone blocks. This explains why archaeologists never found huge ramp remains, massive debris. 2. Better precision. Surveyors needed to see pyramid edges clearly, measure angles constantly. With an internal ramp, the outer faces stayed visible. Alignment stayed accurate. The pyramid stayed symmetrical. This matches reality. The Great Pyramid is extremely precise, almost perfectly aligned. 3. Less material needed. Internal ramps do not require millions of extra stones. Use space already inside the structure. This saves time, labor, resources. Ancient Egyptians were efficient. This fits their style. The turning problem. But the theory is not perfect. There is one major challenge. How did workers turn heavy stone blocks at the corners? The ramp is narrow. The stones are huge. Houdin suggested a solution. At each corner, there were small open spaces, temporary chambers. Workers could rotate blocks, After construction, these spaces were sealed. Interestingly, modern scans show strange gaps, exactly where Hodin predicted. This shocked many researchers. The Grand Gallery mystery. Now let us talk about one of the strangest parts of the pyramid. The Grand Gallery. It is tall, narrow, sloped, unlike any other Egyptian corridor. For years, historians asked, why was this built? Hodin gave an answer. The counterweight system. He believed the Grand Gallery was not just a hallway. It was a machine, a gravity-powered lifting system. Here is how it may have worked. Heavy stone blocks were placed on sleds. These sleds were connected with ropes. On the other end of the rope, a counterweight. The counterweight was loaded with stones, slid down the Grand Gallery. As it moved down, it pulled another stone upward, toward the king's chamber. This is basic physics. Heavy weight down equals lighter weight up. Evidence inside the Grand Gallery. The Grand Gallery has strange features. Grooves on the walls, slots along the sides, a polished floor. Hodin believes wooden beams were placed here, acting as rails, guiding sleds. Some marks on the stone, a look-like were damage from repeated movement. This suggests heavy objects moved here many times, lifting the heaviest stones. The king's chamber contains granite beams, weighing 50 to 70 tons, transported from far away. Using ramps alone, this would be almost impossible, but using a counterweight system, controlled movement, gravity assistance, it becomes difficult, but possible. This is why many engineers find this theory convincing. Modern technology supports the idea. In recent years, scientists used 3D modeling, computer simulations, muon particle scanning. These tools revealed hidden voids, internal pathways, unexpected spaces. Some match the internal ramp path, the predicted corner chambers. Not foolproof, but strong clues. Criticism of the theory. Of course, not everyone agrees. Critics say, no ramp corridor is fully visible. No tools are found inside ramps. The theory is too complex. They argue, Egyptians preferred simple methods. External ramps are more realistic. But supporters reply, Egyptians were master engineers. Precision proves advanced planning. Complexity does not mean impossible. A hybrid solution. Many experts now believe Egyptians did not use one single method. They used multiple techniques. Possibly external ramps at first, internal ramps later, counterweights for heavy stones. This mixed approach explains efficiency, explains precision, explains missing evidence. A pyramid full of secrets. The Great Pyramid is not just stone. It is mathematics, engineering, planning, human intelligence. Even today, we still debate its construction. We still discover new spaces. And this leads us to an even more shocking idea. What if water was involved? The Nile itself played a role? Now we reach the final and most surprising part of the story. For a long time, historians believed that the Great Pyramid was built using only human strength, ramps, ropes, wooden tools. But in recent years, new discoveries have changed how we think. Scientists began asking a new question. What if water helped build the pyramids? The Nile, Egypt's greatest power. Ancient Egypt depended on one thing more than anything else. The Nile River. Every year, the Nile flooded. It brought rich soil. Crops grew easily. This gave Egypt extra food, extra workers, extra time. Because people were not always farming, they could work on temples, cities, pyramids. But the Nile may have done more than feed Egypt. It may have helped build the pyramids, a lost branch of the Nile. In 2024, scientists used satellite images, radar technology, deep soil scans. They discovered something shocking. A long-lost branch of the Nile once flowed very close to the pyramid sites. This means heavy stone blocks could travel by boat. Stones came directly to the pyramid base. No long land journey was needed. This explains how stones from far quarries arrived, how transport became easier. Water was already part of the process. But what about lifting stones upward? The water elevator theory. Some scientists suggest a bold idea. They believe the Egyptians may have used a water-powered lifting system. This sounds modern, but simple water physics is very old. Here is how the theory works. Rainwater and floodwater were collected. Water was guided into a vertical shaft. Inside the shaft was a wooden platform. Stones were placed on the platform. By controlling water levels, the platform moved up, like an elevator. Workers could then remove stones at higher levels, build from the inside. This would reduce human effort, time, injuries. Is this theory accepted? Not everyone agrees. Many Egyptologists are skeptical. They say, no clear water shaft is found in the Great Pyramid. Stones are too heavy. Evidence is limited. One famous archaeologist says, this idea sounds interesting, but proof is missing. Still, scientists reply, climate was wetter in ancient times. Not all structures survive. Many internal spaces are still unexplored. So the debate continues. The mystery of the empty tomb. There is another strange fact. Pharaoh Khufu's body was never found. No mummy, no treasures, no gold. This is very unusual. Most Egyptian tombs contain burial items, show signs of rituals. The Great Pyramid does not. Some believe the tomb was robbed. Others think Khufu was buried somewhere else, in a hidden chamber, the hidden void. In 2017, scientists used particle scanning. They discovered a large empty space deep inside the pyramid. This void is still unexplored. Could be structural, or symbolic, or something else. Some believe it supports ramp theories. It helped reduce pressure. Others believe it hides a secret chamber. For now, no one knows. Why the mystery still matters. The Great Pyramid is over 4,500 years old, built without modern machines, more precise than many modern buildings. Even today, engineers study it, scientists scan it, historians debate it, and still, we cannot say with certainty, this is exactly how it was built. Maybe the truth is simple, or maybe it is complex. Maybe the Egyptians used ramps, internal paths, counterweights, water, brilliant planning, or maybe methods we still cannot imagine. What we do know is this. The Great Pyramid is not just stone. It is human creativity, patience, knowledge, and mystery. And perhaps that mystery is what makes it truly eternal.